Hi, Dr. Suzanne.
Good morning. Hello.
Good
Hello.
morning. So, the intention of this episode is we're going to contribute in talking about the importance of sexual health and the services that Lemonu offers to solve these issues. You and I, well, especially you, we're going to help to normalize the conversation
Yeah.
about our sexual and vaginal health from of shame to one of ownership. I know that I remember talking to Sherry Ross, and she was also saying that we really have this need to normalize it because a lot of women, when they come in, you can tell us they don't right away talk about or
Oh,
answer
no,
questions about
no,
their
they don't.
sexual health.
No. And they don't, a lot of times they don't bring it up at all. And in fact, the data is out there. And, I don't want to be, I tend to love the science as sort of
Yeah, give us
my
the science. I
reason.
love it. I'm a fucking nerd. Do it.
There's all sorts of data out there. I mean, okay, well, there's two streams of consciousness or content here. One is that there's not enough data. Actually, there's not enough study in this area, and I think that's just a reflection of our cultural discomfort with specifically female sexuality, like women and being sexual beings is really threatening, scary, weird, shameful, like you name it, and that could be a whole podcast in and of
For
itself.
sure.
So you get to be the age of your audience, me and you ish.
Yeah.
um it's not going to magically poof disappear. I mean, that's now you've got decades of built up layers of discomfort, shame, not talking about it, silence, fear, misconceptions. So in the studies that we do have, we noticed that first of all, a large number of women have sexual complaints and questions throughout their lifespan. This is not something that crops up at 45.
Right.
Women in their 20s and 30s have issues and questions as well. And, less than half of these women are going to have these questions addressed. They're not bringing them up. Then you look at how long it takes for these things to either come up or get dealt with. Many, many, many years. It's sort of similar to endometriosis stuff, seven to
Right.
10 years, 7 to 10 years before this stuff gets dealt with. This is across the board in sort of the third rail female sexual health stuff, urinary incontinence, sexual health, menopause, very similar data. Doesn't get brought up. But the doctors don't bring it up for a number of reasons. Not we do really don't get good training in this at all. I don't think I had any training in sexual health in my
Yeah, the other
OBGYN
gynecologist said
residency.
the same thing. It was
Yeah.
just learning
So
on the
I've
go.
sought train. I've sought training. There's specifically for sexual health, and this is a great resource for your listeners. The International Society for the Study of Women's Sexual Health, or as we like
Okay.
to call it, ISHWISH.
That's a
So
funny name. We'll put it in the
it's like
show
a Dr.
notes.
Seuss. It's like a Dr. Seuss character.
That's a great name.
I have a so we're out there. We're out there. And if people want to find like a physician locator or resources, that's a great place to look. Women need to know that there are places to get help. So number one, we're not trained in it. Number two, we're also a part of this culture and we have our own hangups. If you think your doctor is coming to this as like a tabula rasa objective, that's some bullshit. I mean, we're
Right.
people. Like, we got to and a lot of times we lack awareness and introspection.
Yeah.
Doctors are doing the best they can. I don't want to disrespect my colleagues, but there's introspection is not one of the major qualities that they're screening for to get you into medical school. Okay, I mean, maybe it's
Totally.
changed.
No,
And
I
then the
don't think
last
so.
thing is if we have 5 minutes scheduled, we don't necessarily want to open the Pandora's box.
Yeah, like
As
how do you get horny? How do you get a sex drive? Like, oh, I'm too
right.
tired. My kids are
Right.
annoying
But we're not
me.
even bringing it up. So
You
if you
can't.
guys bring it up, that's helpful. But it takes it takes some courage to bring it up. And I think, most of your listeners will find that their docs and their practitioners do want to have a conversation. They may not know what the answer is, but I think just opening the conversation is the most important thing. So that's sort of the context and the framework for actually how I got more involved in this. I felt like this was an area that people just were not getting addressed. And I knew that people had questions. I mean, I'm a woman, I had
I
questions.
know. I was going to say, like, you're a woman in this sort of, stage of life also,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're going through your own stuff. So you know what it
Exactly.
feels like to
Exactly.
experience all of this. and
Exactly.
you know what the questions are in the back of your own mind. I think it's
Right.
interesting because when I first did the first episode on my like vagina series with Sherry Ross, I can't tell you how many DMs I got from people who were like, thank you so much for talking about this.
Hmm.
Nobody is talking about why my vagina feels like it's ripping open or why it's
Yeah.
burning or all of these things or things that we can do about them.
Or they
We
get
just
told, they get
assume.
dismissed. They get told, oh, it's just a part of aging. It's just a part of being a woman. What? Use some lube. What? No, that's not an answer. That's actually
Yes.
not an answer. And I mean, you'd be surprised how often this is the response that people get. It's really sad.
Yeah,
Again,
it's so
us just saying
normal.
these
It's so
words. Exactly.
normalizing, especially because
Exactly.
I'm sitting here
Exactly.
going, wait, so like I have these issues too, and
Right.
I'm asking you as an expert, like, can you help us figure this out? So I'm like, if
Yes.
you don't want to ask the questions, I'll ask the questions for you.
Right.
I'll throw myself under the bus and my poor husband. He's like, oh my God, what are you even talking about and what's happening?
But
So
it's only going to help him.
I know, totally.